Dear students, let us continue learning the course Data Structures and Applications. We are in the 7th session of the module 4. The topics covered under this session are additional binary tree operations performed on the binary trees. Myself, Dr. Suresh Adi from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Kendra Engineering College, Bantwad, Mangalore. The additional binary operations include copying one binary tree to the other tree, or checking the equality of the trees, or the satisfiability problem. First, let us go with the first additional tree operation, that is copying a binary tree. This operation will perform a copying of one binary tree to the other binary tree. Let us look how this will happen. So let me have a binary tree which is represented using the doubly linked list in this pattern. A will have the two children, B, the right child, let it be C, so B will have only a right child, let it be D. So this link field is null. D will have only a left child, let it be E. E, let us check, it will have a left child, let it be F. C will have a right child, let it be G. So this binary tree I want to copy. This binary tree I want to copy. This tree will be called as a original tree. This tree will be termed as the original tree. This original tree I want to copy it to a temporary. This tree I want to copy it to the other tree, let it be a temporary tree, let me call. Right? So this copy function will take this original tree as the argument. This copy function will take the original tree as the operation, that is as the argument to the tree. So this function, as you can see, this is similar to that of your postfix expression. So it is similar to that of your postfix expression. So how the postfix expression will happen? So first we will traverse along the left tree, then next we traverse along the right tree, right child, left child, right child, and then next we will go with the root. Then next we will go with the root. The same thing is depicted here, but in place of traversing we go for copying. In place of traversing we go for copying over here. So it is an application of the stack. It's a stack application. Let us look how this thing will happen. First it will take up the original node. So original node, it will start from the A. From A I will create the first temporary node. If we have a node over there, so we will stop till there are no further nodes. If we have a node, then we allocate the memory for a temporary node. So we allocate the memory for the temporary node. Then next we call the function copy original of left child. So it will come to this location. Again it will come over here. So again what happens? So again we go for allocating. We created the first memory is created, but we have not yet copied our value. The first memory is created. Then next what happens? Again we call the function, so which will create the one more temporary node. So now this is one more temporary node. Next again, so now the left child. So now the left child is null. Once the left child is null, we go for creating the right child over there. So copy the right child. So now we call the function copy. That will create one more memory allocation. For every call, it is going to create one node over there. So this is a before node creation is before the call. So node will be created. So again we make a call, it will come over here. So again we create one more node and we call the function left child. So now this node will be created. Again no left child. So now again one more call will be there. So which is going to create the left child over there. Which is going to create the one more left child is created. Now again no more left child are there. So now we no more left child, no more right child. Then we go for copying the data. So now which data is copied first? This will be copied first. That is F is copied first. So now once we complete this one, we will go to the previous one. Now the previous one is E. E is copied next. Next D is copied. Then next will be your E is B is copied, but before copying the B, we go for the right child over there. Once we done with the left child, we will go with the right child over there. So now we go for the right child. So that is a B will be copied. Then we go for the right child. Then in the right child again. In the right, we done with the left child and the right child for the B. So B is done. So once we are done with the B, then next will be your C. For the C, the node is created. Then again what we call the left child over there. So now no left child. Then we call the right child. Yes, there is a right child. So again memory is allotted. Memory is allotted for it. Again no more elements are there. No more elements are there after the G. So what happens? It will stop and it will come to the next line. What is the next line? Temp of data will be equal to original of data. So what is the original of data now? G. So G is copied. Then next will be C is copied. Then next A is copied. So there we go for printing in case of your postfix traversal. But here in place of printing, we copy the data of the root. Here we copy the data of the root. Fine. So it is nothing but you are doing in the same way how we have done for the postfix expression. The only difference is there we go for printing our data. Instead of that one, we copy the data over here. We copy our data to the nodes. We copy the data to the nodes. So before that one, we go for copying the left child. Then we go for copying the right child. Then we go for copying our root element. So this will create a same tree what we have earlier. So it will create the same tree what will have the earlier the same a replica of the same tree is created. So now this is regarding a copying a binary tree. That is a replica of the binary tree is copied, and that replica you can use it for your application. Since instead of working with the original tree, you can make a replica. That replica can be used for your additional operations. That will be your copying a binary tree. Then the next operation will be the testing the equality. So now I have two trees assume. The first tree and the second tree. So let the first tree be A, B, C. Let it then D and the E. The second tree, so this I am calling it as the first tree. Let it be the first tree. Let the second tree be so I am checking for the equality, so I will copy the tree as it is so that equality can be proved. And one more case for the inequality we will discuss next. B C. Let it be the two trees. Now I need to check for the equality of these two trees. So now for this one we are going to pass the two arguments over here. The first argument is the node from the first tree and the second argument is the node from the second tree. If any one of them is not present, we are using the AND operation. If any one of the node is null, then no need to check further, you can directly give the value as null. So that's the first check condition what we are doing. That is, we won't check the second part, the OR condition you can look. We will first check the first condition. If any one of the node is null, no need to check the further, we will directly give the value as null. That is, the trees are not equal. That is the false case. Next, for a true case, what happens if these two nodes are equal, if first and the second are equal? Then what we will check? We check the data which is present in the nodes. Data is A, correct. Both are nodes. First condition is both are present. It is not null. That is the first condition. Both are not null. Second case, what we will check? The nodes, the node values of both are same. The first of data is equal to the second of data. Yes, both are equal. Then next what to do? We need to compare the left child and the right child. For which again we will make the repetitive call. You can look. Equal. So now what we are passing? First of left child and the first of right, second of left child. So now these two nodes to be compared. Then after that what I need to check? I need to check whether the equal is the function again. So wherein we will check the first of the right child and the second of the right child. So if both are equal, it's a repetitive call. So by once, either if any one node is missing, if any one node is missing, so this part will be get executed, it will give the null value. If they are present, but if they are not equal, then this will be your null value. If both are present, both have the same data, then we check the left child, then we check the right child. It is a repetitive call. It is a recursion. It's a repetitive call. It's a recursion where we check for the equality. If both are equal, only then it is going to give us the true, or else it is going to give us the false. So this is how we check for the equality of the two trees. Equality of the two trees. How we are checking? First we check whether two have the nodes. That is the first part. If any one of them is null, directly we give the false value. If both are present, this condition is checking. If both are present and both have the same data, then we go for checking the left child of both. Then we go for checking the right child of both. If everything is satisfied, then only we go for giving the equality, that the true value will be returned, or else it is going to return the false value will be returned. This function will check the equality of the two trees. Then the next one will be the satisfiability problem. Means how many conditions will satisfy. How many conditions will satisfy. So let me take one simple example with the logical gates. So logical gates, if I take up, let the values be A and the B. So we have the possible values as a true, false, true, and the false. Now if I perform the AND operation over here, what is the result of the AND operation? True and the true, true and the false, false and the true, false and the false. If I have the OR operation, true and the true, false and the true, false and the true, false and the false. If I go for the negation is nothing but your NOT operation. I will take only the A. If it is having true, then its negation or the NOT operation is false. If I have false, then its not operation is true. Fine. So now in the satisfiable problem, we will decide. So we will decide for the AND operation. If I take up, what are all the combinations which is giving me the true value? What are all the combinations which is giving me the true value? Then next, for the OR operations, what are all the combinations which is giving me the true value? For the AND operation, I have only one such combination. What is that one? True and the true. But for the OR operation, I have the three such combinations are there. What are those? True and the true, true and the false, false and the false. Then next, for the NOT operation, I have the only one such combination is there. Sorry, one such combination. That is, if I have a false as my input, only then the output is the true. This satisfiability problem will give us all such combinations which will yield the true value. So this we have demonstrated for the two variables. If I extend it for the case for the three variables, assume. If I use it for the A, B, C, three variables, then 1, 1, 1, all, if they are all are true, only then the result is true for the AND operation. Fine. So for the OR operation, if all are false, only then the result is false. In the rest of the cases, it is a true. So this is the false. This won't satisfy. Leaving this one, all will satisfy. But in case of AND operation, only this will satisfy and the rest won't satisfy. The satisfiability problem is used for finding such cases which will yield the true value. So in this case, if you observe how many combinations we made, when the input size is 2, we made 4 combinations. In this case, if the input size is 1, I made 2 combinations. In this case, if I take I need the 8 combinations over there. What are the 8 combinations? True, 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 then true, true, false, then true, false, true, then true, false, false, then false, true, true, then false, true, false, then false, false, true, then false, false, false. How many combinations we are getting? 8 combinations we are getting. In generalize, if you general, for the one input, we are having the 2 combinations, true or the false. For the 2 input, I have the 4 combinations, that is a true, 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 false, false, true and the false, false. If I have the 3 combinations, I am getting the 8 combinations over there. In general, if I have the n input, then the number of combinations will be 2 power n. If I have the n input, then the combinations will be 2 power of n. So that is, the satisfiability problem will have 2 power n such sequences we need to solve. It is not the just n, it is the 2 power of n. So as we have seen in this example, these many cases we need to solve. So how that will be solved, that discussion will happen in the satisfiability problem. So now let us go with the formal discussion of it. The satisfiability problem will consider the formula that is constructed by using a set of variables x1, x2 up to xn. So these are the input values. And the operators what we are using is AND, OR and the NOT. These are the logical operators what we use. And the values for the x can be any one among them. That it can be true or the false. I can't have any other value other than the true and the false. The expression can form using these variables and operators is defined by the following rules. What is the rule? A variable is the expression. If x and y are expressions, then these are the combinations. For the combinations not of x and y, x or y, they will be the expressions. And parentheses can be used to alter the normal order of evaluation. The parenthesis will have the higher precedence, that is used for altering the normal order of evaluation. We can go for using the parenthesis. So now let us take this example. So what this example is, x1 or x2 and not x3. If I have the combination as x1 and x3 are false, if x1 and x3 are false and x2 is true, so now x1 is false, I need to check for the second case. x2 is true, x3 is false. If I substitute not of false is true, then next true and true, false or true. That is the satisfiable problem or the formulas of the proportional calculus asks if there is an assignment of the values to the variable that causes the value of the expression should be true. That is the combinations. We need to search for all such combinations which yield the result of the expression as true. So then the result will be true. So in this case, the other possibility can be, if I take the x1 as true, if x1 is true, no need to check further, the result will be true because it's an OR operation, the result will be true. That is, we will get the 4 such combinations. What is the 4 such combination? True, then the true, false, then the true, false, true, then the true, false. These 4 combinations where the x1 is true, it will give us the correct result. That is, the result will be true. When the x1 is false, we are having the AND over here in between the x2 and the x3. So x2 should be true. It is an AND operation. Then next, not of x3 should be true. Means what? The x2 should be true and x3 should be false. Only then it's not become true. That is a combinations. So along with these things, the one more combination is this one. That is, I need to find all such combinations. How many combinations I got? Now I got the 5 combinations. So what are those 5 combinations? These 4 combinations wherein x1 is true. Then the rest of the combinations, if x1 is false, then x2 should be true and x3 should be false. Only in that scenario, the result of the expression is true. Our work is to find such combinations which will yield the result as a true. So that will be your satisfiable problem. Fine. So the expression, one such expression, other expression. So first x1. So now whenever the expression is given, you can write the tree for this expression. For the tree over here, first this is to be solved. So that is x1 not of x2. So we can make a not as a operator. Then you can have the not of x2. This is to be ANDed with x1. This is to be AND with the x1. Then next, this again one more parenthesis is here. We need the not of x1. This is to be ANDed with x3. This is to be ANDed with the x3. Then these two, in between these two we have the OR expression. Now we are done with this one. Then this one is to be ORed with the not of x3. This is to be ORed with the not of x3. So now this result is to be ORed with this result. So this is my tree. Fine. So now for performing our operations, you can clearly observe. First, to perform the AND operation. So now to perform the AND operation, one, we need the value from x1 that can be true or the false. Other one, we need the result of this one. That is, the parent value will be calculated only if the all the values for the child is known. So now if I take, now x2 can have the true or the false. So now let me have x2 as the false, then false of this one, now it is true. Now let me take x1 also as true and the true, then its result is your true. That is, I need to solve these two to solve this one. I can't solve this one directly. What I need to solve here? I need to solve this one first. Fine. So that is x1 we have taken as true, not of true. Not of true is your false. x3, let me take it as a false. So false and the false, this will be false. So now I need the result of these two to be taken over here. Fine. So if you observe this one carefully, how we are performing. First we are solving our left child. Then next we are solving our right child. First we are solving left child, then we are solving the right child, then we are solving our root. Then we are solving our root. So this is similar to that of one of the tree traversal. What is that one? That is your post order traversal. If you remember your post order traversal, the same sequence is there in the post order traversal. What is that sequence? First I need to go for the visiting the left child, then I need to go for visiting the right child, then I need to go for visiting my root. The same thing is followed over there for the cases of satisfiability problem. For the cases of to solve the satisfiability problem, we go with the post order traversal. Only when we go with the post order traversal, only then you can get all such combinations over there, or else you fail to get the result. No other possibilities can have, either no in order traversal, no pre order traversal. We should go for the post order traversal, because in the post order traversal the root will be there at the end. That is, I need to know the value of the left and the right to get the value of the root. So that will be done only with the help of the post order traversal. The same thing can be applied to the satisfiability problem. So now let us take the in order, pre order and the post order in order. This is our in order traversal. This is our in order traversal for the expression. Fine. So what is that in order traversal is about? In order traversal is a sequence is you need to go for the left, root and the right. So the in order traversal will yield the same result. You can look. First go to the left. What it is? X1. Then the right. After left, you need to go to the root. So root is and. Then the right. After right, again the left. I don't have the left. Root is not. And the right, x2. Now this is done. Go to the root. Root is your r. Then the right. Again the left. Not. x1. Then next, it is the after root, you need to go to the root. Root is your and. x3. Then after this one, go to the root of it. What is the root of it? Root of it is r. Again the right. I don't have it. Then the root not x3. This is the same thing what we are getting. That is x1 and not of x2. Then the r not x1 and x3. Then r not of x3. Fine. It is the same tree what we are getting. Fine. That is the in order traversal. Now for the in order traversal, we can't solve with our satisfiability problem. So what we need to go for our post order traversal. That will give the in order traversal is this one. So now to have your solution, you need to go for the post order traversal. For the post order traversal, what are all the combinations we can have? Either the AND operation, OR operation, NOT operation. Along with that one, values can be true or the false. And the combinations, here we have the three variables. Three variables means how many combinations we can have? 8 combinations. True, 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 false, true, false, true, true, false, 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 true, true, false, true, false, 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 true, and the false, false, false. So what is the complexity? How much time it will take? It will take 2 power n. We told when we have 1 input, 2 combinations. When we have 2 input, 4 combinations. When we have 3 input, we have the 8 combinations. When we have n input, it will be the 2 power of n. When you have the n input, we have the 2 power of n such combinations we need. Fine. So now let us go with the node structure over here. So now what is the node structure we have? Earlier we used to have only the left child, right child, and its a data value. Along with the data value, now we are having the one more field. Along with the value, we are having one more field called data. So what data can have here? These are the 5 possibilities. What are that one? Not. This is our not operation. And, or operation, true, and the false. These logical operations can be there for the data field. That is, along with its value, we store its data over there. What the data will have? Data can be any one among them. It can be a not operator, it can be an and operator, it can be an or operator, or it can be in true, or it can be in false. Fine. Then leaving that one, we will have the left child and the right child, and its value of that node. It is the value of the node. Next. Now to go for to have the satisfiability function, we need to check for all 2 power n possible combinations. We need to check. So what is that one? Generate the first combination. Generate the first combination. Then next, replace the variable with their values. The first combination is in the previous case is true, true, true. Then evaluate to root by traversing in the post order we are discussing. So what is that post order traversal? That is left we need to solve, right we need to solve, then we need to go to the root. That is you have to solve its children, then you have to go to the root. If the root value is true, if the root value is true, you print that combination, or else don't print. So what is that satisfiable function? We need to find all the combinations that yield the true value. If the combination what you have selected, if it is yielding a true value, if this is true, then you print that combinations, or else you ignore that combination. Go for the next combination. That is generate the next combination, replace all its variables, again you evaluate. That is try for all the possible cases. How many cases we will get? We will get 2 power of n cases we will get. All the n cases we have to solve and we need to print the one. So now if we won't have any such combination, if it won't enter over here, then obviously it will come here. So here we print the solution that for this problem we don't have a satisfiable combination. If it returns after satisfying any such combinations, we will return. If not, we print the message that there is no satisfiable combination is there. Fine. So this is how we work with that is your proportional logic in find for the satisfiable function. So in this session we learned on the additional tree operations. They include, the first one is copy, that is one more temporary node is a temporary tree is created with the original tree, so that any manipulations you want you can do on the tree. And the second one, we checked for the equality of the 2 trees. Then next we checked for the satisfiable problems which uses the post order evaluation to find the solution of all the satisfiable solutions which yield the result as the true. The references for this presentation are taken from the textbook Ellis Horowitz and Sartaj Sahni, Fundamentals of Data Structures in C, 2nd edition, University Press 2014. And Samuel Lepue's Data Structures from the Sham Outline Series, revised, 2nd edition, Tata McGraw-Hill 2004. Thank you.